My name is Cecilia Davis, and this is Multiculturalism through Thinking for a Change. Lesson 1 is the introduction, or the icebreaker. I first would give my name, Cecilia Davis, explain that I'm from Houston, Texas, and answer the two following questions. What's my favorite holiday? My favorite holiday would have to be Juneteenth because I enjoy the symbolism of the day and the actual history of the day, as well as the celebrations here in Houston. My hero would have to be, one of my heroes would have to be Angela Davis because she was a female activist who wasn't scared by any means. And she voiced her opinion whether you liked it or not, and I could relate to that. I would then give each group member or student the opportunity to answer the questions with the hope that they would open the door for the discussion of multiculturalism. Lesson 2 is about active listening. Active listening begins with you looking at a person, thinking about what's being said, waiting your turn to speak without interrupting, and then when your turn comes, have something to say that is in relation to what was said. To practice this skill, I would pair the class up, giving them these questions to answer. The first person, we're going to go with person A, would define racism and give an example or an experience in which they dealt with racism. Person B would be actively listening to the information provided. Person B would then ask these questions to or reflect this information to the group after getting it from person A. So person B would stand up and give person's A definition of racism, person A's experience with racism, and their opinion of what they would have done in that situation. Lesson 3 is asking questions. Asking questions is deciding what you want to know with the information that was previously given while actively listening. Once you decide what you want to know, decide how to ask it. Pick a way to ask it. And once you've decided, ask the question. Again, in their pairs, person B would ask person A how that experience of racism made them feel, as well as what was their reaction to that experience of racism. Once the information is given and the person B practiced actively listening, they would again stand up and address the class with the information given from person A. Giving feedback. This is where the group comes together to give feedback on all the information from the different partners. That's what I just said. Decide what information you want to know. Again, decide what kind of information you want to provide in the feedback to what you already wanted to know. Pick a way to say what you want to say or what you want to convey. Pick the right time to say it, as well as give your opinion in an objective, respectful manner. So, to practice this, I would have the group ask or answer, can you relate to this? And I would hopefully get feedback from members in the group saying, well, yeah, we can relate to this, opening the door further to more discussion on multiculturalism. Lesson 5 is knowing your feelings. This is just us evaluating how certain things make us feel and why. Recognize that you're having a feeling. Decide what was it that made you have this feeling, and then decide what feeling it is. Okay, so we would go over how this experience made the group feel. How did when this information was conveyed to you, how did you feel about the group? How did you interpret the information? Then I would ask, how do you feel about discrimination? Seeing as that was a topic. Or racism. Seeing as that was the actual word that was used in all 5 lessons, sorry. With continued practice, I do the same concept, just with different words. We go through active listening, asking questions, giving feedback, and knowing your feelings for discrimination. So we do the same thing. Partner them up. Give me the definition of discrimination. Have you ever experienced discrimination? How did that experience make you feel? And we'd go back and forth with person A and B, both giving the information to the group. Religious differences, privilege, tolerance, acceptance. Once we discussed all of those and we practiced our active listening skills, we practiced asking questions, we practiced giving feedback and knowing our feelings, I would want to broaden the group more and see how much deeper we can get in with scenarios. In these scenarios, I would tell them to do the same thing. Actively listen to each other when discussing the scenarios. And the scenarios will be done in a group setting. So the individual lessons were done in pairs. The scenarios will be done in groups, but we will all come together as a class to discuss them in the end. So I would again advise them to actively listen to the scenario and to discuss the scenario within the group. Ask questions to your group members to get more information and to understand more. Give feedback to what's being said, and I mean relevant feedback. Know your feelings. I need you to express what you're feeling with these scenarios to your group members in a respectful manner again. Finally, determine what action should be taken. What would you do if you were in this scenario? So, the first scenario, Donald Trump is making ethnic and racial slurs at his rally. I would have give the group about 5 minutes to discuss the scenario. I would walk and see if each group member is practicing their actively listening, asking questions, giving feedback, and knowing their feelings. I would provide a sheet of paper so they can write these down as they're doing them. The next scenario would be South Carolina taking down the Confederate flag. Again, on the sheet of paper, describe what you're doing to actively listen. What questions are you asking? What feedback was given? What feelings were experienced? And if you were in South Carolina right now, what would you do? How would you react to this? Popular stores implementing unisex restrooms. Actively listen to your group members. Again, this is a practice. We're going to keep doing it. Ask questions, give feedback, know your feelings. If you were in this situation, what would you do? that's it. That'd be the lesson. Well, at least the first part of the lesson.